Hey everybody, welcome to my last listing probably before the holiday, and I wanted to make it a good one. This is the mighty King of the Hill Denon DP-65f fully automatic direct drive turntable. It's been recapped and restored, has a couple little marks on it because you see there's no dust cover. The dust cover got smashed in shipping. Don't get me started. But with that being said, it's still an amazingly good turntable. It freaking rocks with a Denon cartridge. Let's go ahead with the Snoop Dogg and look over the features and functions of this really cool machine. Once again, he's turning his ass to his fans. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing great. It's going to be stupidly cold here coming up, and but I hope you guys are safe and warm and everything's going well for you this holiday season. Like I say, this turntable, a bunch of people have been asking for 65Fs. I know. There just haven't been any that have been any good out there, because if there's something wrong with them, it's hard to get them back from that. So I try to get ones that are working examples and then just refresh them. That just makes it easier on everybody. This one here was a perfectly clean, minty, nice turntable. And when I got it, the dust cover was cracked, messed up. So there's a couple of marks. We'll get to that here in a second. But this thing has been recapped and restored. It's got Nichicons and Elenas and Panasonics in it. The motor's been lubed. The arm's been lubed. The CDS photo sensors have been changed. The motor waveforms have been set with a scope. All front panel switches have been cleaned. The variable resistors, the pots and everything, have been set with a voltmeter. See, it is in really stupidly nice shape, considering when you open it up, the dust cover was in two pieces. And what that did to it, from what I can see, is right here. There's a little line right there. I see a little scuffy right there, here. And that's really the most I see of it. It's just, I might be a little something right there too. Just enough to piss you off, right? So anyway, like I said, these things are so hard to find. It's ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to sell it without a dust cover, because I can ship it to you that way. I can get you a brand new dust cover. We talked about that last time. What I'll probably do is ship it to you, protected, and I can either get you a price and have my guy send the dust cover directly to you, or I can just sell it to you without a dust cover, because it looks really freaking cool without it. You may just live without it. And if you want to get a dust cover down the road, I'll get you him. He'll give you my price. You can get one 3 months from now or whenever you want to for the same price. So, my band of the day. Oh my God. This is going to be my favorite segment of the year, because another band I did earlier this year reminded me of one of the funniest rock and roll stories that I ever had in my life. And it's one of those deals where, how could you forget that, Mark? Well, I did a lot of drugs and drinking. But let's go ahead and we will feature a band that I'm sure you've never heard of. You'll never hear of again. But oh my God, the frickin' story is cool. Let's talk about the Yipes. So my band today is Yipes. Normally I might feature a one-hit wonder. This is no hit wonder. These guys had no hit songs. They had no major releases. You've probably never heard of them, but they're in the Wisconsin Music Hall of Fame. But we'll get to that in a minute, okay? So Yipes is from Wisconsin. First of all, let me thank the great Frankie Previtt for reminding me and bringing me to this band, because I did a segment on Frankie and the Knockouts a while back, and I mentioned that they were on Millennium Records, which is a really goofy odd duck label that Jimmy Ironor, the iconic music guy, Jimmy Ironor, had this label. And all I had on it was like leftover Canadian artists. And it had that guy, Miko, who did the disco themes of the Star Wars thing and the Wizard of Oz shit. That was the biggest song they had on there was that million-selling disco theme from Star Wars shit, right? That was their thing, right? Well, they'd signed a couple of bands, including Frankie and the Knockouts, and including Yipes, okay? And I didn't realize Yipes was on Millennium Records, because I had these records in the storage. Okay, I got so many albums, I can't keep them all here. I got storage units with my guitars and stuff like that, and I can keep records there. So when I saw the name Yipes, it reminded me of one of the funniest, G-rated stories I can tell anybody of my rock and roll career. But let me tell you a minute about the band, okay? So the band was formed in 71, but it wasn't until 77 that they, wait for it, they won a Battle of the Bands contest. What the fuck? I've never heard of a band who won a Battle of the Bands contest ever getting anything from it. Have you? But the last, 10 bands Honeymoon Suite and all these other, they won these radio station contest deals, and it gets them some kind of notoriety, and they make something of it. And that's what happened here with Yipes, okay? So they won this Battle of Bands contest, and basically the band, the main guy of the band was a guy named Pat McCready. He was the singer, and they had Andy Bartow and Mike Hoffman were on guitars, and Peter Strand played bass, and Teddy Freese was a drummer, okay? Now, because of, Einer's connections, they actually got out on the road and toured, opening for Cheap Trick and Foreigner and Kansas and more. Now, they made 2 albums. This is their second album, and I'm featuring it because it's got the only song on there that was a single that actually made it out of the top 100, okay? But my story of the band trumps that, okay? So in 1979, I was working at the Youngstown Agora. It used to be the Tomorrow Club. I was like a stage manager. I owned most of the PA there. So I was a stage manager. I ran monitors. I did whatever, okay? And I was working there one night, real cold night. I remember that. And I think it might have been Cheap Trick was the headliner, but the opening band was Yipes. So they were doing sound checks. So how sound checks work in the rock and roll days of yore is the headlining band would come out, set all their big stuff up. They would sound check first. They would tape everything and mark it and not move it. Then the opening band would come up, put their drum set in front of that, and they would, set their stuff up, and they would get a quick sound check, and they would leave their stuff set up so that, they'd be the first band on that night, and they get done, they get their stuff out of the way and get the headliner's stuff set up, ready to go, right? So Yipes was doing a sound check, and somebody in the band comes to me, and he says, hey, man, dude, you got to help me. Our drummer left the drum head out in the truck. I'm like, so? He goes, no, it's got the band name on it. It's got Yipes written on it. We got to have that, right? So people know who we are. I'm like, okay. So I was going to send him out to the truck, but this is Youngstown, Ohio in 1979, and it was getting dark. And like the old Rodney Dangerfield joke, how far is it from there to the bus stop? We don't know because no one's ever made it. You don't want to be outside in Youngstown, Ohio in 1979 in an alley, backstage in an alley, right? So I decided to go out with it. We'd just be out there a second. It was cold as shit. I just had a t-shirt on. We go out, get the drum head out of the band. We turn around to go back in backstage, and someone had closed the door because it was fucking cold. Well, the band's jamming on stage. It's loud. They can't. We're beating the shit out of the door. They can't hear us. I'm like, fuck me, dead. Okay, let's walk around to the front, okay? By now, there's going to be people waiting in line. There'll be a will call there. We'll get in from the will call. So we go walking around, all the way around the block to the front of this place. And by then, there's a line down the street, okay? I mean, there's probably 80 to 100 people in line. The place holds like 2,100 people. And so that's why I think it was Cheap Trick, because it was a pretty good line really early. So I look, and I don't see anybody at the will call thing. But we weasel our way up to the front, kind of moving in there. And I'm pounding on the door. You're going, hey, let me in. I work here. Let me in, right? Well, this girl finally comes down, and she looks out the window. She sees me and this guy. And I go, come on, let me in. I work here. And I don't know who she is. She doesn't know who I am because she works the front gate. I'm the guy on the stage, right? I mean, let me in. I'm with the band. And in a moment that will live in my rock and roll history, the guy with me pulls out the drum head and shows her that it says Yipes across the drum head, okay? I just wish to God I would have thought of this. But right when he did that, there was a guy in the crowd. He goes, yeah, look, he's a fucking yipe. And in unison, the fucking line starts yelling, they're yelling out Yipes. I'm fucking freezing my ass off, okay? But I'm laughing my ass off. I feel bad for this fucking dude, right? Yeah. So finally, maybe she figures out it's 30 degrees and I have a t-shirt on, and this guy's got a drum head from the band. And she probably doesn't even know the Yipes are playing because they're not even on the sign out front. We get in, okay? Oh my fucking God, okay? We get in. We get the drum head on the drums. It's all good. Here we go. An hour and a half later, doors are open. People are in there drinking. The show's about to start. And the local DJ guy, I don't think it was Thomas John, but it was SRD. Local DJ guy comes out, and he's getting ready to announce the first band. So when he does that, they put the lights on. He comes out there walking, and you can see the drum head, that's Yipes, on the front of the drum kit. And he goes, hello, ladies and gentlemen, the first band tonight. And of course, all these people who were in the front of right there at the door were the first people up to the front of the stage. So what do? The minute that he says, tonight's first band, they start going, they fucking start yelling Yipes. And by this time, they got 1,000 people going, yelling Yipes, okay? I'm sure when this fucking band came out, they thought, holy shit, we're famous, we've made it. Because the whole crowd is yelling their name, okay? But no, this is the fuckers from the goddamn crowd, okay? The DJ, he started playing their record on the radio. The next week, he was playing the Yipes record on fucking SRD. Oh my fucking God. Yeah, I'd forgotten that whole fucking story because I did a lot of drugs and I drank. I don't know if you guys know this time. But anyway, oh Jesus Christ. So when I saw the name Yipe, it was like instantly like two things went in my head. One, I got instantly cold. And second, yeah. My dog's looking, you all right, Mark? No, I'm good. Don't worry, I'm good. So anyway, that is my experience and story of the band Yipes. Now, I have both their records because, I saw them in a 99-cent bin down the road. I go, oh, fuck, 30 years ago. So I'm going to play you a track from the Yipes record. I'm going to play, they had a cover of a Beach Boys song, Darlin'. That's the one that just made it out of the 100. I'll probably play you a cut off that, and we'll show you the features and functions of this machine. But oh my God. Yeah. I can't believe it. Let's just go to the next section. Don't worry, Snoop Dogg. I'm not going to start chanting Yipe at the beginning. The cool thing is this band, if you actually listen to the songs, they're really, they're a humorous band. They deadpan seriously talk about really funny subjects. And as a matter of fact, the front guy, Pat, is still doing that to this day. We'll get to that about him here in a minute. But let me show you how this turntable works real quick. It is the top of the line, king of the hill, head cheese, head honcho, Denon DP-65f. You have a power button right here that turns on. This is mechanical. Everything else here is electronic. But this one here is a big old heavy-duty spring-loaded mechanical. I always use my thumb sideways. That makes it work because you can actually strip this up if you don't push it right. 33 and 45 are for your speeds. They light up, but you probably won't ever use these because this has this silo here, that little part with the scuff on there, that lights up across this record, and underneath the record, you'll see these sensors, okay? So when that light doesn't see any of these sensors, or the sensor doesn't see the light, it goes, oh, there must be a full-size album on here. We're going to set it at 33, and we're going to drop the record, the needle right here at the beginning. If it only sees the inside set, it goes, oh, must be a 45 single. We'll set the speed to 45 automatically. We'll drop it where that needs to go. And if there's no record on it at all, as I used to call the 4 margarita setting, where you thought you were drunk and you were going to put your Yipes record on, but you didn't do nothing, it'll stop and keep you from crying in your beer that you have to buy another needle. Over here, as I mentioned, this is the lock light. This will be solid green when it's locked to speed. It blinks when it's getting there, which is like less than a turn. This is your locate feature. This motorizes the arm in and out. And if this had a dust cover on it, you would see the dust cover stops right here, and you can do all these controls with the dust cover down, which is cool if you got it on a shelf. Your lifter is your queuing up and down. This has a red light up here. This here is your repeat button because it's fully automatic. It'll play the side over and over and over again. If you've got that push, that lights up green. If not, at the end of the side, being fully automatic, it will lift up, come back, shut itself off. You don't have to touch the arm if you don't want to. Start is start, and stop is stop. Obviously, if it's started, it'll stop. We'll stop it. If it stops, start will start it. This is a Denon DL60. This is the original kind of cartridge that came on this thing, but this is a newer one. It's factory original stylus on it. It rocks, okay? It doesn't need change. You can buy, to this day, Geico makes elliptical styluses that LP Gear sell under their brand names, and Turntable Needles sell them and stuff. But if you want one, but this one sounds perfectly good. I played a few records to it. It needs nothing other than to rock out. It's there. The screw here unscrews the head shell, so you can change cartridges easier, but you usually let lock. This is your arm lock right here. I'm sorry, I thought I stepped on the dog scale. That holds the arm down when you're not using it. These two controls are for your anti-skating and tracking force here, which is running 1.5 grams. And this is for your Q damping because this has the Denon servo tracer tracker arm that you guys know I love. And a lot of people love it because it tracks warp records like you wouldn't believe. It makes cartridge compliance issues next to nothing. And it uses magnets instead of gears or pulleys or whatever to do all these arm operations. So that's why this thing glides like it's a freaking Rolls Royce, because it's floating on air because it's a magnetic field. Okay. I told you about the silo here with the light. There's a hole back there behind it. You drop a screwdriver in that allows you to set your drop part for the record. I have that set perfectly for you. And then, like I say, you got your regular old ballast style counterweight back here. But again, this magnetically sucks the arm down. If you have this set on 1.5 grams, when you turn this power on, it's going to add 1.5 grams of suck to whatever you set it at, which is why you're supposed to set it to float. But I still have people every day, including today, they have issues with getting it set up. It's just the bane of my existence of, loving these turntables. And, I don't blame anybody. It gets, most people don't have to set up a regular turntable. These are just different, okay? And they're not very intuitive. You wouldn't know that it's different unless somebody told you. And I just did. So anyway, when you want to play a record on this thing, I was going to play that Beach Boys track, but it sucks. I mean, I'm just going to play the first song on the record here. It's called I Can Tell You're in Love. When you hit the power button here, as I mentioned, arm pops up, does a happy dance, and lowers back down. It's good to go, right? And when you want to play it, hit start, arm lifts up, it moves over, it drops into place, and it plays a little bit of Yipes for you. Did I mention this was a 99-cent record? That's why it's a little scratchy. Your locate feature, you hold this down, it moves the arm over where you want it to be. And if you let go of it, it drops the arm in place. Same thing with the backwards. Just hold it down, it goes till you let go of it, drops it in place. Then the lifter here, you'll see it lights up red, lifts the arm up and down. That's good. Repeat, does it over and over again, as mentioned. And of course, stop. Stops it, returns here to the end, shuts itself off. And that is the Killer Cool Denon DP-65f. Let's go ahead, we'll wrap this thing up. We'll talk about how you can make this thing your own and the whole dust cover situation. We'll go over that one more time for you. Let's check it out. You okay, Snoop Dogg? Yeah, I know, buddy. It's getting late. Anyway, man, thank you guys so much for checking out Yipes and checking out this cool turntable. As I mentioned, this is not going to ship with a dust cover. It'll ship with something to protect it, but you may not ever need a dust cover, so there you go. Or if you want me to get you one, I can get you one. With a brand new dust cover through me, I'll get sent to you. This turntable will be $700 plus shipping. If you don't want the dust cover, it's $600 plus shipping. So there you go. You get your choice. Doing it either way you want. With a Denon cartridge set up ready to go, set up with my Fikert, all recapped and a whole bit, man. It is just a rockin' killer turntable. And just one more time to reiterate, there's a little scuff right here. I could probably go out to the storage and get another one of these tubes, but come on, man. And like I said, little mark right there, and I see a little bit right here. And that's really it. These edges are just, look at it. They're freaking awesome. I mean, the rest of it is just cool. It's just really cool. So with that being said, man, I only take Zelle. I only take PayPal, friends and family. Now, I heard some rumors that the government's going to try to fix that because people are finally realizing, hey, I sold my lawn furniture on eBay. What do you mean I'm going to get hit for 15%? Yeah, you are. $600 and up, you get $10.99. And depending on how much money you make for a living, that takes 15% off your, or it adds 15% of that total to your tax bill, which means that's 15% less you get back, or 15% more you got to pay of that total. So God bless America, huh? All right. Anyway, all that being said, man, grab this thing. 600 without a dust cover, 700 with. I hope you guys have the happiest Christmas, man. I mean, it's going to be cold as hell here. Hopefully, the snow you guys get won't bury anybody, but it might just be a really cool white Christmas and try to just, celebrate your family and the ones you love. And hopefully you got your nice warm dog to keep you snugly warm, man. So with that all being said, man, I appreciate y'all. Take care, everybody. Stay tuned for the next one. And in the meantime, somebody grab this thing while you can. Merry Christmas to you.